Welcome, welcome. It's 11:30 Central Time. Sorry, I just uploaded the live show a little bit later than usual. But hey, if you are a subscriber, then you click the notification bell, then you probably knew this is going to happen anyway. So I appreciate you subscribing. Please leave a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. I always think it's interesting how far the YouTube channel has reached. I know we have some people calling from different African countries, even from East Asia, New York and California, and all the way up to the Dakotas. But hey, today we have some information about a priority list for the national, basically for ICE. Okay, we're going to talk about other things. So if you have any questions, please drop in the comments below. Again, let us know where you're watching from. Let me try to bring up that document here. Alrighty, so this is what we got. I got a lot of things open on the computer. We're here to solve your immigration problem. Hopefully you don't have one, but if you do, we're happy to help you and point you in the right direction, okay? Hey, Yasmin, thanks for tuning in. What would they do for Dreamers for us? What will Congress do for Dreamers? Well, hey, we know that the House passed the American Dream and Promise Act at least a month ago. So that's good. What's it doing? What is the Senate doing? Absolutely nothing. There's some talk in the background, they're talking, they talk, that's all they do. They're pretending they're talking until it happens. So that's why, in my previous shows, again, I still stand by it. Hopefully I'm right. But I feel like just based on what I know about U.S. politics, hopefully something will pass in the Senate. If it does, who really knows? If it does, hopefully by August. Okay. I've been mentioning that ever since March, ever since President Biden took over in January 20th. We needed a couple months to cool down from the migrants coming across the border because Republicans always want to talk about that as an issue, but it happens for any presidency. Okay, so let me see if I can pull up the document that I want to share with y'all. Man, I have a lot of items open here. Okay, so just to share with you a general national guideline is that they're changing the process. Okay, the court system is changing the process. They're prioritizing cases. There's several things they're doing. Number one, they are having a docket rocket is what they call it. So for example, quote unquote simple matters, people that don't have any crimes, people who are eligible to apply for adjustment of status, the form 485, and they don't have any crimes, then they're going to allow you to have your case terminated, to be closed. Okay, they should be doing this across the country. On their PDF that they shared with us, it mentioned pilot programs in specific cities. But now and that was a week ago. But now it appears they're trying to do this across the board. I could be wrong. I've seen it for Dallas at least, specifically, and in other cities. So even though Dallas was not on the original list for this pilot program, okay. But of course, unfortunately for now, if you do have some kind of crime, even though it's not something that can prevent you from being eligible to adjust status, let's say through a family member, and it's immediate relative category, then they're going to allow you to dismiss your case, get it terminated, okay? So that's a good thing. So check with your lawyer or check with an attorney if you don't have one already. I hope you do. It's very important, especially if you have a case in court. Now, I just got off the phone, had a consultation. I want to share a little story with you. I'm not going to mention a name, of course, for confidentiality, but they're concerned about their future because I know a lot of y'all are concerned about because you don't have legal status, but a lot of people are concerned because they, especially when they have the 45 and USCIS denied it. Okay, they filed it a couple years ago, but USCIS denied it. And actually in this person's situation, the USCIS officers went and visited their home twice. And unfortunately, he was not there. He as in the immigrant, but the U.S. citizen spouse was there. And this is, I believe, this is during the pandemic. And they went out there twice. And unfortunately, he has a type of job where, he's not home. I mean, anyone that's working during regular work hours, they're not usually going to be home. But he's a truck driver. So he was driving across the country, and they went to visit the house. This is one reason you should have a lawyer, to be prepared for this rare circumstance, but you need to be prepared. And for us, we accept cases that the documents are appropriate. The evidence is appropriate. If you don't have proper evidence to show that your marriage is real, the obvious one is a marriage certificate. Everyone, of course, should have that to show that you're married. But there's other documents. When you get married, there's a bunch of documents that you could have. For example, like a joint bank account. There's a bunch of blogs out there. But once you hire us, our team, we not only do we provide you a checklist, we go over it and provide you suggestions on what you need to get, especially if two people are living in a different state. We have several clients like that, and we're still able to help them get the green card, get legal status, and that's where we're here to solve your immigration problem. So I mentioned this person because, of course, in general, USCIS can refer your case to immigration court if they deny your application. So that's always a concern for clients. For the most part, at least for my clients, they don't go after people or refer them to immigration court unless they have some kind of criminal history. So just because you got denied is not the only reason. Can someone adopt a child at age 19 in America? So adult adoption, because 18 is the age of adult. That would depend. So, there's an immigration channel, right? But if you're asking adoption, a pure family adoption question and not related to immigration status, it depends on the state. I know in Texas, I don't believe that's possible in Texas for adult adoption. I could be wrong, but I don't do family law. I actually only help divorce cases for pro bono for people who have been suffered domestic violence and they're a domestic violence survivor. So I'm not familiar with adoption for adult adoption. We've done adoptions, but for those that are under 18. But in general, if it's related to immigration, you have to be considered a child. The definition of child is when someone is under 18. So, for example, if it's a step parent, step parent, or a new parent coming in the household, then that relationship, new marriage, has to happen before the child turns 18. So, but just general international adoption, it has to happen before age 16. So that kind of gives you an idea of the different scenarios, the different requirements. So happy to help. Fill out the intake form down below. It starts with Ting Law down below, by the way. So happy to help. Let's see here. So there's definitely more information to share with you on this. Let me go to another page here. All right. Drop any questions in the comment section. Let's see. Annie K. Chambers. Why is F3 category taking so long? I feel you. Yeah, we have a lot of clients like that in that category. I've married sons and daughters and from Jamaica. Will they get any faster for 2021 or 2022? I mean, it looks like you're being realistic, Annie K. Let me pull out the visa bulletin to check, but you probably look at it every day like I do, maybe. Let's see what we got going on. But Annie K, what's your priority date? You told me the people, I don't know if it's for you or for your married son or daughter, but let me know what the priority date is. But yeah, it's because it's based on a U.S. citizen, right? It is still part of the priority list for Department of State to issue visas, but that's issue interview dates. But that's really the second thing, right? In your situation, you're just waiting for the priority date. That's what it sounds like. And let's see here. Pulling it up, and priority date shows at least provide the financial documents for sponsorship. For F3, it shows they're working on a case from August 1st, 2009. Long time. A really, really ridiculous long time. People from Mexico, they're waiting an extra 9 years from September 2000. In the Philippines, August 2003. For the F3 category for the married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. So, and for example, if that person, your son and daughter that has children, the CSPA is very important, Child Status Protection Act, to make sure even if that child is over 21, could still qualify. Okay, it depends on the calculation. So we're happy to do that. If you have any questions about it, please. The best thing to do, friends, if you're new to our channel, is give us a call at. Let me go back one here. Okay, let me put up the banner. Yeah, there it is. Give us a call, 346-330-5888, or you can text us if you're at work. I understand you may be busy. And the other thing is share this not so secret code, because if you share it, then our CARES team can provide you the free 15-minute preliminary discussion. Sometimes it's with them only to see if you're qualified, okay? Because once you're qualified, then you can definitely speak with the legal team. Sometimes if it's urgent, we can determine if it's urgent. I know everyone here is going to say that your question is urgent. I completely understand, but some are more urgent than others, especially when it depends on deadlines. So we're happy to help solve your immigration problem. And again, if you're new to our channel, please subscribe down below. All right. So let's see what we're going to share with you about. So anyway, I'm going to have a video in about 1 or 2 days specific about how to check your immigration court status and how to check when your court date is, okay? Because especially because of the pandemic, even before the pandemic, we had court hearings rescheduled for numerous reasons. It could have been because of government shutdown, or a judge is sick. But now they're getting actually better about, if judge is out due to vacation or sick, your case is going to be on the same day but heard by a different judge. So it just depends on the number of judges in that city, okay? And you may have heard you may have watched, if you have not, video last week about update on Biden's new plan. This is a leaked report from the New York Times, I believe it was. And basically a draft blueprint on what President Biden wanted to do. And that's one of it, is to hire more judges. And I know it may sound strange. We have some clients that want their court hearing as soon as possible, and some actually want to delay. It really depends on the situation, on the strategy. But usually people want their hearing as soon as possible. But as lawyers, we need more time to prepare your case, request certain evidence from you. And believe it or not, a lot of our time, our CARES team is to, hey, we give you a call, say, hey, where's the evidence? We think we do a good job of that, by the way, customer service, to get that evidence from you. So I hope you like that, because it is we do have some people that don't provide us evidence when we need it. There are deadlines. Okay. So, hey, I finally found the ICE. There's a lot of updates going on with immigration. So I finally found the ICE. They issued out a interim guidance regarding civil immigration enforcement and removal policies and priorities. So let me see if I can download this and share it with you. But basically, they're cutting some people some slack. It's the overall theme, okay? They're going to focus on people that have national security issues, focus on folks that have border security. So if you entered past November 1st, 2020, you're probably not watching this show, but if you did, they're going to prioritize your case for court, okay? And a public safety concern is if you've been if a person has been convicted of an aggravated felony, and it may not be considered aggravated felony on the state level. So you may, but it's categorized as an aggravated felony. So you might not even know it. And it depends on the state. Even if you convicted of a felony in Texas, it may not have the same immigration consequence if it's a similar offense or crime in Nebraska. okay, or California. So it just depends. That's why it's very important, friends. I hope you don't have any crimes, but if you do, if you are arrested in the future for one reason or not, of course, the obvious thing is call a criminal defense lawyer. But also, if you're an immigrant, even if you have a green card, friends, there are consequences. Okay, your status can be revoked by immigration, by a judge. So that's why, or even customs, when you re-enter the country after visiting, your family in a different country. So I want to share a story about that. Actually, we had a client who, visited. I think it was just like Spain or something, and just having a vacation, came back in, but customs said, "Hey, we're gonna let you in, but you're gonna have to have your case referred to immigration court for deportation." So, checked into his background. He had a possession of marijuana from, I forget which state, but possession of marijuana. I know it's a misdemeanor, but it's still triggered for customs to send them to immigration court. Okay, not that same day. Depending on the criminal offense, by the way, they can detain you. Okay, so we call secondary inspection, and they put you into a room, not like a jail cell, not but like a bigger room, at least temporarily for now. And so we have some clients that have been referred there, and then actually have to get sent to detention center because the crime was so serious. So it may, most lawyers think it should be obvious to clients, but I know it's not to you. So if you're thinking about traveling outside America, even if you don't have any crimes, but you've been out of status at any point in your life, okay, in America, you want to speak with an immigration lawyer to make sure you're eligible to actually go. Okay, I know it's tough, especially with pandemic. A lot of family members, I get messages almost every day about, unfortunately, a lot of people are passing away for one reason or another. It could be because of COVID. It could be for other reasons, so it may be tough because you might want to go travel abroad, go visit your family member, even if they're still alive but sick. You need to make sure. I mean, I know it's tough, but you need to make sure you're eligible to travel abroad, okay? Even if you have a green card. So there's so many scenarios we're happy to help. But I want to share that kind of is related to this immigration priority. But even with this immigration priority list, enforcement and removal priority list, it doesn't address only about people traveling outside America. This is more about ICE and immigration court. So they review those priorities, those three major pillars. Okay, those are public safety, border security, and national security. So I know there's many of our clients that don't even have any of those issues. So that's a good thing. But they use those priorities. They use your facts, immigration facts, to see if they should issue you a notice to appear in immigration court. That's also on the USCIS side, okay? Because what they were trying to do is decide what personnel, which agents are going to be focused on which immigrants, okay? They have very limited resources. So despite what Trump was trying to intimidate immigrants the past 4 years, I mean, yeah, you can do all that intimidation, but at the end of the day, there's many millions more immigrants in America than ICE agents. So at the end of the day, they still have to prioritize. Just like a company, you have to prioritize your resources. Okay, so I don't want people to think that you have to live in fear. Okay, but if you want lawyers to help you determine what the likely scenario is for you, let's say, for example, like we just had a call about this morning about someone who was denied 485. Yeah, I actually just talked about this earlier, but yeah, if you're just tuning in, denied 45, and then they were trying to figure out if they could be referred to immigration court, receive that notice to appear in the mail. So by the way, if that ever happens, but you wouldn't know this, right? For you to know this, you need to update USCIS with your address. And if you already have a court case with Executive Office Immigration Review, Immigration Court, you need to update your address, okay? Don't think that not providing your address means that they're not going to issue you a automatic removal order because you didn't show up to the court hearing. we've had a lot of people call in before pandemic, of course, because anyway, there were no non-detained hearings during the pandemic, but now they're up. Now they're back. Okay, so you need to be ready for that. But we've had some people call in and say, John, I just found out for some reason I had an automatic order of removal, aka deportation order, and I didn't know about it. Our first question is, did you update immigration with your new address? Because some people say and tell us, oh, I provided my family member's address. Look, what if your family member moves and you forgot to tell immigration that you're, essentially your family member moved? I mean, you do what you need to do, but at the end of the day, you need the address where you can receive mail, okay? And so, of course, immigration rules require you to provide your own address, not someone else's. So it's very important. And so that's one reason it could be a disaster, because the only reason, it's very limited reason they can reopen your court case if you didn't receive the notice. But if you didn't provide them the correct address or you didn't update them, then that's a problem. It's very likely you can't reopen the case. So that's really a case-by-case situation. You should speak with a lawyer. We're happy to help you in that situation. Okay, we're here to solve your immigration problem. There's a phone number and website. All right, so friends, the other thing, you've been this 20 minutes in, I'm finally getting to it. The third thing really, okay, is now prosecutorial discretion. And that's part of the first thing we talked about. Okay, the rocket docket is what lawyers call it. It's really just trying to speed up the flow of these cases to finish it out. There's something else going on. They're trying to, just in general, if they're going to, government lawyers, Department of Homeland Security, they're going to bring back what they started, revived under President Obama, and that's called prosecutorial discretion. PD is what lawyers call it, okay? So they look at the totality of circumstances, your whole immigration history, how you came in the country, if you lied, if you had misrepresented, hopefully you didn't, your work history in America, if you have stable employment, if you have compelling humanitarian factors, hopefully this is not your situation, but if you have poor health or your family members, you want to use it to your benefit, of course. Tell the truth. If you have, if one of you are pregnant, that's important, right? Especially during pandemic, it has been tough for many families I know to take care of their children when you have to work at the same time. So, and I know less people are less able and willing to work in any kind of job, especially for being a nanny, a babysitter. So they also look at what we call aggravating factors. Okay, the obvious one is criminal history. If you have participated in persecution or violated human rights, I haven't had any clients in that kind of situation. So, I mean, that's fortunate for our clients. Other thing is previous immigration violations. All right, so I see a couple comments. We'll get right to it, but I just want to finish up here. And so, yeah, I mean, even if you had criminal history, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't exercise prosecutorial discretion. But what they also look at if there's extenuating circumstances about it, if it's a continued threat to if you are a continued threat to public safety. So there's a long list of factors, essentially. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. I just try to speed through it. But I do see a couple questions here. Okay, Jorge Vasquez. You heard MVC was starting to show what month of case they're working on to give interviews for the case that are DQ'd. That could be the case. Maybe it depends on the country. That would be great. They didn't do this before the pandemic, but usually what starts off is that the State Department website, travel.state.gov, they do provide at least an update of when to expect you to receive your case number, because that's the first thing, right? And the second thing, after you get the case number, you need to pay the fees to the National Visa Center. Okay, online is preferred. I think that's really the only way. If it's been past a year, then you have to mail it in. But the other thing is, yeah, I mean, do you know Jorge? You heard about it, but let's go to that. Let's check it out, okay? Let's see what the National Visa Center is providing to us. Legal resources. I'll share the screen if I do find something, but let's check this out. NVC. Okay. By the way, friends, let us know where you're watching from. I think it's always interesting where where this YouTube channel is, how far is reaching. Okay. Let me type in National Visa Center. Let me see. I highly doubt it, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Let's see what they got up their sleeve. Let me go. Let me go to National Visa. And by the way, if you're wondering the timeline, the wait time for other visas, like visitor visa, student exchange visa, or other non-immigrant visas, let us know, okay? Happy to check for you. And let me just type in Ciudad Juarez, for example. Right now, they say emergency appointments only. Okay, so what we want to share with you is, I don't see that right now with National Visa Center. Okay. Yeah, there's no news bulletin about it. But let me read for you. All right, hold on, guys. I got it right here. There's an update also on, I won't be able to go through all of it. It just got updated on the June 2nd here, Department of State meeting with our American Immigration Lawyers Association that I'm a member of. They had an outreach meeting with our association State Department Liaison Committee. So let me check if what you're asking, Jorge, if it's on this list. This is quite long. It's 24 pages, so I won't be able to go through all of it in this episode, but let me check that about we got interviews. Let me type that in, interviews. Okay, they're talking about other interviews. Let me see. Okay, they're talking about F1, student visa, to expedite that. Okay, people are asking about whether lawyers are asking if Department of State would consider allowing interviews by Zoom or some kind of virtual interview. Right now, no, unfortunately not. Okay, they still require in person, but that was part of what President Biden's draft blueprint, was to see if there's a way to do these interviews virtually. That would really help, especially when you're in your country, maybe you move temporarily to a different part of a different city in the country, and because of COVID or pandemic, or for rent reasons, so many reasons. So that would definitely make it easier. But let's see where else they talked about. Interviews popped up 12 times on this document, so let me scroll it. A lot of people are asking about interviews at different specific consulates or embassies. They're not really answering that. It just depends on the caseload. Okay, it depends on that country. So let me keep scrolling. Okay. You want to be very careful, okay? Here's some tips right here that is priceless. If you go to the medical exam office, do not think that the physician is your friend, okay? And here's why. They could ask you, when did you start drinking? When was the last time you drank? Even though you've not been asked if you drank alcohol, and you didn't mention that you did. So these physicians are almost like they're acting like immigration officers. So you want to be careful of that. They still technically work for the government. They're subcontracted, okay? Even if they have their own clinic, only very limited medical clinics are allowed to provide this immigration medical exam, okay? So you want to be careful with the questions they're asking. So yeah, some lawyers are concerned because their client was denied at the interview because somehow in the medical report it mentioned that you drank. So that is a concern. You don't want the government to think that you're an alcoholic. Okay. Of course, drinking in general is not a problem, but you don't want the immigration officer to what we call infer something from the medical report. So you just got to be careful what you're sharing to the doctor, okay, or even their assistant, physician assistant. All right, let's see what else they got talking about. So that was a quick tip right there. Okay, so another tip here, if you're waiting for interview, we'll share this as a separate video too, because this one was specific to ICE deportation cases, but we're here on the show anyway. I got a couple minutes. I want to share this real quick. If you have you're expecting an interview from a country that you are not a national or resident of, you probably will be more delayed. This is the case even before the pandemic. So if possible, you want to, especially because there's a backlog, you want to be in a country that you're a national of and requesting an interview there, okay? National or resident of those countries. Because, of course, they're prioritizing people who are residents of nationals of that country that they have interview at. But we've had some clients before, and right now that they're in a different country because they're there as a student. You know, they have a visa to be in that country. So, of course, it just depends. But if you had a choice, try to go back to and have the interview in the country that you're a national or citizen of. Okay. Let's see here. Next one they talk about interviews is people asked about if they're going to schedule for the interview for visitor visa. And the State Department said the post will not reschedule visitor B visa appointments. Oh, that's a big one there. Okay. So if you're waiting on that and your visa has expired, I'm sorry, but maybe just wait to apply in that case. I mean, it's fairly low price. I mean, I don't know your budget, but I believe it's $160. But if you file it, not to say it's too early, but maybe get it in line if your visa is already expired. Okay. It says national interest, non-immigrant visa applicants whose appointments were canceled should check the website of your nearest embassy or consulate for the current operating status and schedule an appointment when they again become available. I mean, some consulates we checked, for example, on Ciudad de Juarez in Mexico, that said emergency appointments only. So don't get discouraged. Even if it says emergency appointments only and they don't provide like 10-day calendar days or something like that, don't be discouraged. Send them an email. Let them know why you might qualify for emergency appointment. Okay, don't give up. I apologize. I know I've been saying we'll do a free webinar about how to send an email about that, but hopefully I'll check my schedule for this Friday. Okay, we'll keep you updated. If you subscribe to our channel, please, if you haven't, please do that. But if you're a subscriber of our channel, you'll receive the notification when we update everyone through the community post. Okay, so please make sure you're subscribed. We greatly appreciate it. By the way, if you're now tuning in and you don't know this, we do provide a free 15-minute, free preliminary 15 minutes. All right, give us a call, or you can text us if you're at work. Okay, here we go. That's the hand. And then provide this not so secret code, green card guys, and we're happy to help you, okay? Point you in the right direction. Okay, we're just now wrapping up. We do see a couple comments about the interviews. EB5 they mentioned. Okay, that's not a question about EB5. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything. Interviews have been mentioned 12 times in this document, and it doesn't mention being updated. But maybe they mentioned after this. But we'll let you know, Jorge. Stay tuned. But I think that would be a very big promise by the government if they could tell you that, oh, next month you're going to have your interview. That would be great, but I highly doubt that. It would be great if the interview surprised me. Friends, it's been great. Hope you got the information you were looking for this specific topic today about ICE priority and deportation. But we'll have a video in a couple days about how to update your address and how to find out when your next court date is. Okay. Friends, until next time, please continue wearing a mask. Take care now.